Okey-doke. And we'll get your recording
Yep, that's me.
thingamaroo here. Okay. Terrific, thanks Cassandra. Alrighty, it is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission. Today is Monday, September 25th, 2023. My name is Sharon Fox. I act as chair of the commission. With me here tonight, to my left, is Mr. Michael Neustadt, who is the commission vice chairman. Further down, Mr. Dave Frankel, who is a regular member. Taking copious notes down there is our recording secretary, Cassandra Varian. Hi, hi. And further down on my other side is the wetlands enforcement officer for the town of Brookfield, Ms. Laura Barkowski. So, since there are three of us, we have a quorum, so all three of us will be voting members this evening. So we'll start with the inland wetlands officers report. We've got a couple of active sites here. 731 Federal Road. Are these over here? I was away for the weekend, so I didn't get a chance to look at all of these. Did anybody get a chance to look at them? I said I was not able to.
No, sorry.
Did you get a chance to, Laura, by any stretch of imagination, or do you have them?
I did look at them.
Okay. Do you happen to have them?
They're not in file with it?
Well, I don't know. If they are, I don't see them. I see the public hearing.
Is it all the way in Glasgow?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
7:31. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Cassandra.
Thank you. I didn't look all the way to the back. All right, 7:31, 9:14, everything looks good. She's got a couple of notes. The sediment barrier is intact, but it's being pushed down. But it looks like everything seems to be working correctly there. Hey, can you guys, oh, hey, Jim? Let's see, 100, we won't do anything without you, Jim. 100 Candlewood Lake Road. We are waiting the reports on that one.
Do not have anything new on that, Madam Chair.
Yeah, again, I think the school started, so hopefully we'll get that shortly. 23 Grays Bridge Road. There's a service for structural layer of fill, control fill on the site containers. No evidence of any silt fence breaches. Good. There were some minor repairs. Maintenance were made to the silt fencing. There's no evidence that the past flooding from the Still River, considering the substantial rainfall we had in the previous 4 days. However, an existing Graves Bridge catch basin is discharging water onto our site, causing ponding. Ha ha ha. Did you see that? That's not something they're going to be able to fix right away.
No, that's not.
An existing Graves Bridge Road catch basin is discharging water onto our site, causing ponding. I assume they're going to take care of that in the construction. I'm trying to remember that plan specifically. All right, well, let's make a note. Just get that in the minutes if you would, Cassandra. Let's keep our eye on that, or like I said, hopefully their plan accommodates that. Okay, that's it. Enforcement, I see 35 Merwin Brook Road, there's an application.
There is an application, the applicant is actually.
Okay, great.
Well,
Okay.
it's on its way? Okay.
Okay, good. Well, we will get to that when we get to new business. Do you have anything else for us
Not for enforcement currently.
in enforcement? Alrighty, then let's go and, I know Jim has stepped out of the room, but I bet we can start, right? Public hearing, yeah.
Yeah, he's not here.
Okay, let's go then to agenda item 4, which is the public hearing for It's activity W-23-38, 95 Obtuse Road South. So, as we begin, let me do how we're going to run the public hearing. Dave, can you just grab the file? Is there a file there, and just pass that this way? Okay, this is a regular meeting of the Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission. At this point in our agenda, we have scheduled a public hearing concerning the application of 95 Obtuse Road South. It's application number W-23-38 for this says driveway repair, but it isn't. It's like driveway install and access cleaning. I don't know why it says driveway repair.
Our planner just calls it as a driver repair.
Does it? Okay, well, all right, well, I wouldn't think of it that way, but if that's what your application says, then we'll stick with that. So again, first, let me introduce the members of the commission present here this evening. Again, my name is Sharon Fox. I act as chair of the commission. Mr. Michael Neustadt, who is our vice chairman. Further down, Mr. Dave Frankel, who is a regular member. So all three of us will be voting members in this matter. So we will open the public hearing by calling on the commission secretary to read the legal notice of the hearing. Mr. Hudeman is not with us, so I will do this for him. I am looking at notice of publication. No, here we go. Notice of public hearing. The town of Brookfield, and this went to the Danbury News Times, I think, right? Yeah, there it is, Danbury News Times. So yeah, the town of Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission will hold a public hearing at their regular meeting on Monday, September 25th, 2023, in room 133, et cetera, Pocono Road. And this was noticed on run dates, 9/13 and 9/22. So, all right, so that is that. So again, this application was formally received by the commission on August 14th, 2022. The public hearing is only one aspect of the approval process and is for the purpose of accepting factual information and data bearing on the application and to allow expression of opinion by interested parties. Subsequent to the hearing, the commission has 35 days in which to render a decision on the proposal. The final decision may be in the form of approved as submitted, approved with stipulations, or disapproved. After reading into the record the correspondence received by the commission relative to the application, we'll ask the applicant to present the application in detail. The chair will then entertain questions from the public of clarification concerning the applicant's presentation. We will then hear from those from the public and those here tonight who wish to speak in favor of the application, followed by those who are opposed. Following each side of the question, a period of rebuttal, excuse me, will be given. A period of rebuttal to each position will be allowed. All questions and comments must be directed through the chair. As you are recognized, please state your name and address each time before you speak so that your comments may be legally recorded. And again, for the public, please be assured that everyone will be given the opportunity to speak. However, the commission is most interested in hearing factual information relative to the application, and in view of the time constraints placed upon us, we ask your indulgence in not reiterating comments previously presented. Any questions from the public for the applicant? Okay, looks good. All right, so let's take the file. We'll now ask the secretary to proceed with the reading of the correspondence. So I'm going to take this, and she put that in here, so we've got that. So I do not see.
There should be two letters.
Okay, well, let's see if we can find them. Oh, here we go. Good. So we have one from Steve, I would assume Bologna. I hope I said that right. From 87 Obtuse Hill Road. Says his name is Steve. His wife lives at 87 Obtuse Hill Road. Lived there over 37 years. Been a Brookfield business for the last 20. I grew up on the property and woods around it. This was my playground. The pond was where I learned to fish, skate, and where the dog swims. Okay, very special place. So I'm going to try and go through this and see if I can pick up the right stuff. But it's all in the file. He talks about the family apparently made an opportunity to try and purchase it, gone over the areas to build forts and he tried to purchase it, gone to the areas to try to build forts, so on. Said, regarding the zoning wetlands issues, I'm concerned of the effect it will have on the surrounding properties and wildlife. The GIS map clearly indicates water flow between and out of the ponds. It will be important to ensure that the existing flow of the water be maintained without additional restrictions. How much of the excuse me, how much of the wetlands will be covered over, and how will that final affect the wildlife and the property values? GIS maps indicate a portion of the lots fall within deep wetland soils and Connecticut deep groundwater quality areas. How do those issues impact the proposed use of these lots, and what impact will there be on the homes already there? Let's see, I understand the Pinnacle Constructions to purchase the property and build. What price do we pay? Brookfield and lists building and development. His wife and their unique situation regarding these lots. They border his property. And they request Pinnacle Construction would please respect our privacy by leaving some of the beautiful trees in the forest line. Perhaps the buffer could be planted by planting mature trees, shield the property, and new purchases from the other. After all, people aren't moving here to live on top of each other. They moved to our wonderful small town, feel the taste of country life. Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Bologna. Again, I hope I said that right. So we have that. And we have, and looks like another. That's what I wanted to double check. That was Stephen Bologna, so now we have Mr. Mark Bologna. Okay, so this this is dated 9/24/23. Voice his dear town of Brookfield, voice concerning the development of the wetlands on 95 Obtuse Hill. Again, 37-year member of the Brookfield community.
What is his address? The second.
9 Meadowview Drive. Previously a resident of 87 Obtuse Hill Road. So, okay. So he goes on, wetlands serve as critical habitat for countless species of wildlife that support local biodiversity, essential for the health of our environment. The amount of wildlife, beaver fish, waterfowl, fowl with a U, but I think he meant W. Deer, many of them affected by altering landscape. Wetlands filter our groundwater. Changes to the area may affect many homes that are using well water. Excuse me, throat is dry. I understand the development project is part of life and growth in the town, but there's alternate approaches to the development that do not require, he believes there are alternative approaches to development that do not require the destruction of our woodlands and wetlands. Spending most of my life here, overdevelopment of many wood and wetland areas that have been transformed this beautiful town, clear-cutting, water diverting efforts like the one currently taking place to make room for the development of 95 Obtuse South, not a sustainable development practices, and those most affected by the areas have been called this area home for many years, not the developer. Okay, I strongly urge you to reconsider the proposed wetlands development project and explore more environmentally responsible alternatives. One consideration would be to creating building stipulation regarding the removal of wooded areas bordering new and existing homes. By protecting the woodlands and wetlands, we are only safeguarding our environment but ensuring a better quality of life. Okay, so we have 2. You think that's it? Okay, well, again, just thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Bologna and Mr. Bologna for taking the time to write us. That is the purpose of a public hearing, is to get insight from the public. Alrighty, so let's see. So the chair is now prepared to hear the applicant's presentation.
Good evening, Michelle Morris Napoli with Ortonel Engineering Group out of Brookfield. Before you is 95 Obtuse Road South. It's a 2.316 acre parcel. It's lot 3 of a 7 lot subdivision known as Glenderry that was approved back in 1981 by the Planning and Development Commission. We're here tonight, we're proposing a driveway to access the rear portion of the lot to develop a little house. At this time, we're not proposing the house, we're just doing access so that we can get in to do septic testing with the health department, and we'll come back at that juncture. The driveway is located on the east side of Obtuse Road South. It traverses between 2 small ponds, and will be just disturbing approximately 800 square feet of wetland area. And we'll also be replacing the existing 12-inch RCP round culvert with an open bottom culvert. We're proposing 1,860 square feet of wetland creation areas, which is about 2.5 times more wetland than we're disturbing. The wetland areas are adjacent to the existing wetlands, so they can grow and enhance. The area of the driveway is currently just overgrown brush with invasives. We aren't removing any trees for the proposed driveway. And we also created a zone within the wetland area that we're disturbing for no sand and salt to be used on the driveway. Pretty straightforward. Oh, and just a note that per the National Diversity Database, there are no critical animals or federal or state listed animals in this area.
Thank you for that. Okay. And again, I want to make note. I said I appreciate you, even after our first conversation, starting to put in some created wetlands, and the open bottom culvert. I'm very grateful for that. And you weren't here, but I said, but we appreciate you going through and rooting out all those memos from days gone by, and we just couldn't find a map.
Yeah,
We just couldn't find a map. They didn't refer to a map. That we couldn't find a map. So that's.
It definitely went through a review.
Yeah.
Per the minutes that we read through, I think they, they looked at it extensively. It wasn't something that they pushed right through. So I think we just don't, like you said, have the.
We don't have the map, right? So.
Based on the maps that I have found in our file, the driveway is pretty much in the same location of what was shown on the subdivision maps I've seen. The one that is stamped by the planning commission shows the driveway.
So, it's the topologies, Michelle, right? It's forcing the drive here and not there? Is that what's forcing the drive to this side? As opposed to bringing the drive this way and maybe nipping less of that wetland? Is that what's going on here?
It's the topography, the more I move it, the steeper I have to get, so when I'm trying to flatten it out especially with the crossing, to make the grades for the crossing, so we keep because we have a 12-inch pipe, and now I'm going to a bigger culvert.
Right.
So that we don't have, it allows more water to get through, animals to get through.
Right.
So it's kind of what's driving it.
Okay, so you're saying it's just, because I see this goes, what is this? This is
So if I move it.
536 to am I reading that right? I forgot my glasses.
536, yeah.
536 and then 534, so it sort of does a funny drop in here, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to remember, we had the school do like a 4-to-1, on their wetlands creation. And I'm trying to remember, we had another, this is before your time, this is over on, I don't know, obtuse.
The one that I worked on?
The one that you worked on. I want to refresh my memory. I don't remember the address.
It was 43 obtuse.
43 obtuse. It was a very similar process. It was a pre-approved lot. There was only one way in, which is what we have here. There's only one way in. And I got to refresh my memory as to what that multiple was.
I know, I think I did at least 2-to-1. I don't think I got up to 4-to-1, if I remember.
I
I actually had it open today looking
Did
at
you?
it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go and look at it, just for the purposes of consistency, because I don't know, it almost looks like we might be able to get a little bit more here-ish. We might be able to get, a little bit more.
I don't have too much because of the property line, so here,
This is the property line,
yeah,
right?
so, maybe could stretch it in here.
Right,
I can't, this is wetland, so I can't disturb in here.
which we don't want you to do,
Right.
right? And you don't want to do either.
And just remember, with the 93, we have wetland creation all in here as well, and in here, so we're really enhancing the wetland with the.
Is that property line slightly to the north, is that a different property owner, or is it part of the subdivision?
This lot?
It
Yeah,
is part of this subdivision, different property owner though,
So,
different company.
okay. Well, I'm going to do a little homework and see if what was it again? What was
It
that?
was 43,
43,
obtuse
43, thank you. I knew it was I kept thinking obtuse rocks, but I didn't.
Yeah, just down the street.
Okay.
I can't, it's funny, I had it open, I looked at it, cause someone actually bought it, and I was going over it with them today, and I don't remember what.
I almost think we talked about it, recently for some reason. It's, but we've had a very busy set of agendas, so they're kind of blurring together. But we'll take a look at that, because I want to try and be,
Would
if we
there
can
be
be
a
consistent.
problem moving it towards the property line? Forget topography, but, just actually moving it right up to the property line? Is
Well,
that
you
a
have to-
problem?
Well, they have to be able to construct it, so you don't wanna put it right on the property line.
No.
So, we're
There's some,
trying to,
there's some topologies here, Dave. You see it goes from, it's 536 and it drops off on them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't, it'd be hard to take it that way and then come back
I
up.
don't think, honestly, I don't think you're really
Yeah.
gonna gain that much
Right.
by shifting it.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, any disturbance is disturbance, but 800 square feet isn't in crazy amount of it's.
Well, it is. I mean,
Yeah,
the,
no, I
the,
know.
the school was 980 feet. That was their fill.
Right.
And I don't remember precisely I don't even know if 43, that wasn't even that big. That was only like, I almost, 300 or 400 feet-ish. I don't remember that being a big, it was just nipping the area of that one wetland. It wasn't, I don't think it was this much. But we'll go and look at it, because we want, like I said, we want to try and be consistent. We may ask you to be a little bit more creative. So now you've got to put, this retaining walls here,
Yes.
right? So there's retaining walls here, you got to install.
Right, and there's a guide rail on top of it, so to ensure that no vehicles can get into the wetland area.
Okay. And you're usually really good about putting construction sequences for these someplace, right?
So the construction sequence
Yeah.
is here.
So they're gonna have to be tramping through these wetlands to get this in, right?
I'm hoping they could build it from this side and just be able to put the fielding and build it up.
Does that say that here? And if you can't, you gotta come see us?
I can add that.
Can you?
Mhm.
Okay. What we're talking about, you see there's a, because you'll be involved in this. They need a retaining wall here, because they're bringing it up. Does it say how big it is?
It's only about 2 to 3 feet.
2 to 3 feet, right?
Yeah, it's 2 feet tall. It's not a tall right here, so it's
Okay.
3 feet on this side and 2 feet on that side. So could be a boulder wall.
That's the TOW, right?
Top of wall
Top of wall.
is 535 and the bottom wall is 532, so 3 feet on this end here.
Yeah.
And then on this end over here, where
And it's
where
the
your
kind,
pendant
does it
is-
say like you're gonna have to put a footing in here, right?
I don't think you're gonna, I think, because it doesn't have to be engineered, so it
Okay.
could just be a boulder wall, so I don't think they won't have to disturb that wetland, because they could just place boulders to build it up the 2 feet.
Okay.
The wall is not holding anything back, it's just keeping people out of the wetlands?
It's holding a little bit of
Yeah.
a back, but it doesn't, again, 'cause anything over 4 feet has to be engineered, so
Mhm.
it's under the 4 feet required, to have a professional engineer design it, so it could be boulders.
Yeah, and it's also gonna keep the, keep anybody that's passing along the driveway out of the wetland.
Mhm, that I realize.
Yeah. You can't.
But if
They-
it was almost acting as a dam, but this is wetland soil, it's not the pond.
It's not the pond, the water goes, excuse me,
Okay.
it
So
goes
you can
this
see
way,
up
right?
there.
It goes this way, right?
Michael,
Yeah.
see the below is actually
Yeah.
the
Okay,
pond.
that's where the
pond
water
is
is.
on that side of the drive is actually pretty far away,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
so this is just wetland soils.
Okay.
Okay, so if you can add a note, to this construction sequence at the wall, maybe it's here, Michelle, does it say the wall was, does it say, where's the, well, it could be soil testing, driveway crossing, yeah, maybe just add contractor to construct retaining walls of, I don't know, dry boulders, right, dry boulder construction, something like that, dry boulder construction. No footing is planned, no footing will be required, guide rails, a contractor will be instructed to do the construction on the
driveway side?
on the driveway side and not enter the wetland.
Well, obviously entering the wetlands to
Well, yeah, but
cover
not,
that part,
not
but
this,
not enter,
not this.
well, make it, I guess,
Right.
clear that it's just,
The engineer on the drawing.
Can we just get your name and address, sir?
Sorry, Jim, I'm the owner.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Can I come up?
Yeah, of course.
So, on the drawings here, and I don't know if it's on this page or the second page, it says that this retaining wall needs to be engineered by a licensed
Well,
engineer.
This one doesn't have to be, Jim.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry, well, I'm talking about, I'm sorry, I'm talking about both. So while you were away, Dinus and I met on the site,
Okay,
and we were thinking about taking this retaining wall and putting it, well, I'm sorry, not this one. I don't know if we're gonna need that one. We're gonna need this one, and not so much this one, because this culvert is gonna go. So what he said is, why don't you add a couple more of these culverts, which is this large tube right here underneath, and do, because this retaining wall we already have approval for.
right,
So there's gonna be a retaining wall here, which needs a footing. This one, I could probably do away with it, but I wouldn't know how to mount the guardrails to boulders, because they have to be embedded into concrete.
okay, well, that's good. We actually we're just focused on this
Okay, I
one for a
couldn't see
moment.
that
Yeah,
from
no,
here.
you couldn't,
So
so,
what I was trying to do is get away
Okay.
with this one, and then we would add the additional culvert and stone, so it would be exactly like this all the way through this. So this would be protected, so this would be your one side, this doesn't have to get dug down, and we would add the additional culverts right in this area so that it, excuse your finger, so that it connects to this one. Because this one's already been approved, because this is the other pond, so this pond is 4 feet in elevation higher than that pond.
All
So
right.
it runs this way.
okay, so you're gonna need Michelle to make an update to this map
are
then,
gonna
right?
need it.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Well, we'll do that, and we'll be here in 2 weeks, and we'll take a look at it.
Alright,
I said,
we'll
what we're
keep going
interested
then.
in is, you know, yes, I know you're gonna, as much as possible, you know, we don't want you tramping through here
I
and
get
your
it, and
equipment.
That would help, and then,
Okay.
because then I don't have to dig another footing here,
Okay,
you know, so that's the least invasive way to do it with the additional.
so the footing you're talking about is this footing, right?
That's
These
actually
two
not the
guys.
footing, that's actually not the footing, it's
Okay.
on this, the second page.
I don't
There
know.
was no other.
No, there's
page
no,
on this,
there's
sorry.
no, there's a note that says the footing on this one
For
has
this
to be
wall.
engineered.
If the- any wall, Jim, over 4 feet has to be engineered.
Right.
So this wall is under 4 feet, so that doesn't have to be engineered. And I think these walls were all, see that wall,
This is top of wall 533, bottom of wall 529, so just 4 feet on this one?
yeah.
Where's TOW here?
So this one has to be,
Same
yeah,
thing, 533, this one was just 2 feet, 533,
'Cause that's higher
531?
up.
yeah. So right here's the note to say that they need to be engineered, and it's pointing to both those two walls, but not this one, cause that one is
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't,
shorter.
I didn't know you were talking about this, I was. I
Yeah,
thought you were
no,
talking
that's
about
good,
this.
we were gonna go there anyway, so
Okay.
your timing is perfect.
I don't know, you may see it on the CAD, but I don't see it in actuality. I don't know if we're gonna need that one, because this isn't going like that very much, now that we were able to
Here-
clear this.
Here's why you're gonna have something here, because you're gonna have trucks come up your driveway or this driveway, and inevitably, they don't stay on the driveway.
So we could do a
Yeah.
guide rail or
Oh, yeah,
something.
I don't mind.
Just something,
Something
because,
Guardrails have to be embedded into concrete for them to be
Yeah, I-
engineered,
no, I
for the
understand.
engineer to sign off on it.
Yeah.
So I can't just bolt it to a stone, it'll just push off.
okay, well, whatever it's going to be, we're going to need something here, because that's what, you know, and you got something here, I said, because they, you know, it's snowy, it's dark, or they're looking to here, and they shouldn't, and they drive off the driveway.
No problem, I understand.
So that's what we're interested in here. Okay, so this one has been bolted. So now these, you're talking about being engineered.
Cause those are up 4 feet or higher,
Okay,
so those will have the footings.
okay, so do you have the engineering or for these yet? I mean, and what they're gonna look like? I mean, you're gonna change them, so I guess forget my
Well, they're gonna-
question.
There's these,
Well, no, the walls, Jim.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
so we had an engineer, now that we had approval to do this, I brought the engineer out there, the structural engineer.
Okay.
And he told me what he's gonna need to be required. He's in the process of drawing that up.
Okay.
I should have that very shortly, because he's more worried about coverage. So it's gonna basically look like an L, because it's a one-sided retaining wall, right? So you want the footing to be bigger on the inside, covered with dirt or stone, so it doesn't push over.
Yeah,
So what he's worried about is on the backside is that he wants to make sure it's below frost. And because of where the elevation of the lake, it really just barely works to get it below, because we're trying to avoid digging too deep, because once we dig deep next to that pond, it's just gonna fill in with water. You're just gonna be constantly dewatering. So the process is the wall's gonna look like an L like this. And
Okay.
the process is he wants 42 inches cover from the bottom of the footing to frost. Now, water doesn't count, so he's gonna make a drawing of it, of how this retaining wall is gonna be, and I'm 90% sure that this retaining wall is gonna be the same thing.
Okay, well, if he's gonna change that, that's gonna be a modification
He's
to that.
not changing it, he's engineering on the approved plans, it says it needs to be approved by an engineer. We're getting that done right now. He's not changing the elevations.
Okay.
He's not changing anything. He's just doing he's putting in rebar where he needs to put in rebar, and it's connecting to the footing as it has to connect.
Okay, all right, so if you're not changing anything, then you don't need a modification, you're not
I
changing.
don't need a
what-
modification
okay.
on this one. We're gonna end up modifying this, and I'm sorry I didn't tell
That's
you, when
okay.
Dinus and I were out there, because it makes more sense just to have this one. Then we don't have to dig here, and we add these culverts. They come in 10-foot lengths. So we add these culverts and this process here.
So they're gonna sort of be continuous?
Yeah, it's gonna be, you want this continuous. You want this continuous. So right now, the pipe is not adequate, obviously, and it's also old. It's only this big. You know,
Right.
it's 12-inch outer, it's
Right.
11-inch inner diameter. This is 26. So you want that full flowing between the two ponds. You don't want it restricted.
So right now, there's a pipe, and
Yeah.
it goes overland, and then it gets into another pipe and goes into the pond, so there's two separate pipes.
Correct.
So instead of having the two separate pipes, it's just all gonna be one open, like waterway from one pond to the next pond.
Open or not, or?
Well, it'll have that, but it's, you know,
These
it's
are,
open.
Yep.
they're open bottom.
Now, let me, where is that? Now, that's right here, and it's not going through wetlands, correct? Or is it?
Yeah, so the wetlands is,
So they're
it's,
covering up this, or these are, where's the wetland flag?
they're right here. It's easier if
Yeah,
it's
the-
not here.
All right, so you're proposing to cover more of these wetlands.
So it's in here,
Yeah, so that's some additional
is
wetland
orangey
disturbance.
color is wetlands, yeah. So we were proposing the disturbance here and here, and this is where the pipe was, so he wants to extend that pipe to the next pipe down
But
here.
you're
But
saying.
it's not a pipe though,
pipe
right?
Oh, no,
is
the
culvert.
Yeah.
open
So
bottom
you're
culvert.
putting the culverts all the way through
It's a
wetlands.
G.
It's a Storm Tech SC
Yeah,
something.
I forget the name of it.
It's like just an arch.
All right, well, I'm puzzled and I'm not sure I'm excited, I'm not sure how I feel about all that. You know, I'm not sure. So I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna think about it, and I'll be very keen to see what you guys actually wanna propose this to, you know, what this change to be. If you're covering more wetlands, that's, you know, something, you know, maybe we can accommodate here with some more created wetlands.
Well, like
Okay.
you said, you're looking for potentially 4 to 1, so I'm gonna have to add some more creative wetlands
Yeah.
anyway, right?
And that will be, let's see what you've got. Let's take you know, get a chance to, you know,
Yeah.
see what Dinah's, and I'm sorry, Jim came up with, and
Yeah,
let's.
we literally, once we
Yeah.
had the permission to do this, we cleared it out, we were able to get our eyes on it. And it just seemed like it made more sense, it's gonna cost me more money, but it seemed like it made more sense to get rid of this and add that, so that this is one continuous thing.
Okay, well, I don't remember this one, I remember this being pretty straightforward, this one was just an open culvert, just an open culvert here, and with the retaining walls, I don't remember this being very complicated, which is
Nope.
why I think we approved it.
Right.
So we may need, when you do get this documented, we may need to look at this and see if there are indeed no changes or are changes here. So let's make sure we don't
Right.
end up with plans that are out of sync. I know you're gonna be right on top of that.
So right now, the way this is drawn, if I'm correct, Michelle, this is the culvert, then this is an open river, and then a culvert again?
Yeah, so the culvert's down here though.
Right.
So right now, it's all open from here to here.
And there's kind of a ditch or, in here.
Yeah.
But this is
Can
the
you
other
bring me a
property.
picture of that, by the way? I wanna see, if
Yeah.
you would do indeed, hang
Go
on,
ahead.
and then, if you
Go
do
ahead.
indeed wanna fill this in, I don't know, look, I don't know if Jim had a picture of this, or somebody's got a picture, what does this look like today?
I don't know if I don't think I have a
Maybe the
picture of
next
that.
time you're out there, can you?
The problem is that, that's why we want you to give me the approval,
Yeah.
I can't get to it,
It's
this
very
is all, yeah,
Okay.
you can't see through it.
Well, we'll go and look at, cause Jim, in his, gets his thick boots on. And let's see if we can understand what this is that you're actually proposing to cover over
Right.
permanently, okay? Let's understand what that is on this, and is this 93? Is
93,
95,
nine-
this is 93.
This is 90, this is 90?
95, 93.
95, 93. So let's take a look again, I know you will, let's take a look again at 93 and see if there's actually gonna be changes here, and let's get you guys can help us figure out what's here, and we'll take a look and see what Jim, because I think Jim did this work, right?
Yes.
Let's see what Jim describes as this, and that'll help us figure out if we're on the right trail, or we gotta think of something else here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's see, while we're here, let's just read this report and see if he's got that here.
He is here, if you have questions.
Alright. Let's see where it is. Dun, 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 dun. You see the lots? Maybe it's in the other one? I'm just, oh, here it is.
It's, yeah, it's.
Four
proposal-
separate lots, mainly only about forest shrubbery and forested shrubbery will maintain lawn, man-made pond, and a perennial water course. See figure 1 attached. Is that the one?
So I think the so it's.
So I see approximate location of the perennial. Where does this point to? This
Right
goes.
here.
Oh,
He's
here we go.
pointing it to you.
So he's saying it is a water course. It's a perennial water course.
In here.
Yeah, so that's what you guys are proposing to completely cover from the pond to the pond, if I understood that.
Right, so right
Conversation.
now, part of it is, so existing, there is a pipe.
Yep.
And it opens up,
Then
and
it
it's back
opens
to
up.
pipe.
Yep.
So instead of having it,
All pipe, open pipe, we're just gonna do
these, so it's one,
path from the pond to each pond. So it's just one fluid, so the perennial water course can flow undisturbed without coming through, out, through again.
Okay, when you take a look at it, help us make sure we understand the distance that you're planning, the total distance. And I'm gonna keep thinking about it,
Okay.
okay?
Did I hear you say there was a significant difference in the elevation of the two ponds that are
Mhm.
connected?
I think,
Yeah,
Jim said
the
it was
north
4
is
feet.
higher
Yeah.
than the south.
So it's continually running?
Yes.
Okay.
Does
Where,
it run all year long?
It's really hard to tell, this
Yeah.
is the first really we've been back there in the
Yeah.
winter. so
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
Did
it's
you
very
go out
wet
in the
right
win-
now,
did you
so
go out in the
it
winter?
might not.
It's running.
Was it running? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, in general, I'm not keen on covering up water courses, I'm not keen on it, so I'm gonna have to, and I appreciate, sir, your conversation here. I didn't get everything you were saying, I will once I see the plan, but I'll just tell you, it's troublesome to me to be covering these up.
If you're comfortable with the way it's drawn, then I'm fine with that too. I was just trying to limit or minimize the amount of digging through the water course. 'Cause that way, I'm digging twice through. My way, I was only digging once. through.
Okay, I'm gonna be thinking about that, I may need further, repeat, of what you were describing, once we can
Okay.
see it on the plan, okay?
Listen, if you guys think that, then, you're gonna have to figure out your calculations of the more plantings and stuff like that, but in my opinion, I thought it would be better to go, and I'm not an engineer in any way, but I thought it would be better to just only dig once through it on the one side, and then put in your culverts through.
Well, that's why I wanna understand the construction, cause digging can be fixed, right? If you dig it, you'll fix it. you're there and you're digging, and then it goes essentially back to the way it was. And now what this conversation is, covers,
So Jim
I don't know,
McManus mentioned to me that the reason it's perennial and running overground because the two existing pipes are blocked. So that's why you have a perennial stream across that area now, cause it's all clogged. So you
Right,
really,
one of the pipes is broke, just not a pipe continues. It's two
And
separate.
the pipes are what, 40 years old, give or take?
Oh, probably.
yeah,
Okay,
I
well-
think they're older than that.
well, maybe Jim can explain, I thought this elevation is higher than this
Mhm,
one, so
yes.
something would always be running.
Right, it's running, but so it goes through the pipes.
Okay,
It
yeah.
should go through the pipes.
Yep. Open.
Open pipes,
Pipes.
and he's saying right now it's all overland because the pipes are all clogged and.
Oh, okay, but nevertheless, I mean,
There's-
you know,
there's
in,
water.
once you're, however this is done, there's always gonna be water going from here to there.
Correct, yes,
Okay, so it's just a matter of how much do we wanna cover permanently versus digging, which again which would go back, cause you'd restore that bank, right, so,
And the purpose of doing the open bottom is so it's maintains its natural.
exactly,
What's the
exactly.
source? I'm
Not to
sorry.
mention it's sized so
Yeah,
that,
go-
I'm sorry,
go
you know,
ahead, I
that you don't
didn't-
have
I
that
thought you were done.
clogging problem anymore,
Correct.
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
What's the source of the water? That's obviously from this pond to this pond, the source is here. But what's the source of the water?
Just natural overland.
Okay.
You know,
That's enough
springs,
to-
yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, we can take a look at Jim's note, I thought some of this was dug. Yeah, I think some of
I
these
think
ponds
some
are
of them are
dug,
man-made.
yeah, dug, so that the animals could have something to drink.
That's a good idea.
I think so. But man-made stuff doesn't stand the test of time, right? Okay, I think, the other thing we'll need is, I said, I will anticipate with the created wetlands, a maintenance plan for them. You know, like
Yeah.
3 years, and we'll need a bond amount for all
Right, which
these
is fine.
wonderful native things. And you're taking all the trees out to this property line to do all this, right?
I don't think there is
No
any
trees.
trees
Okay,
there.
good,
It's
all right,
all
thank you for that. You haven't tried to go out there, you said it's pretty nasty,
It's really thick.
it's really nasty,
Very overgrown.
yeah,
A lot of different invasives in there.
all right. I'm thinking, also been thinking, I don't think at this moment we would need any third-party review of any of this. I don't think so. Still thinking. I probably would, if we start talking about covering all of this, I might be thinking about some other opinion on it, but we'll see, okay?
You know, what I think is critical of those clogged pipes right now, that changes a lot of the way that the water would flow.
In what way?
Well, the water can't go through the pipes, so it's going a different way, and I think they're trying to remedy that,
And, well, why would you wanna, as long as water is flowing from here to there, why would you wanna remedy that?
It's going the same path, it's just going
Yeah,
overland.
well, it isn't going through the pipes, so it's
Just
going
going
in a
overland.
slightly different way, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah, it's still going from the
But-
higher to the lower, which is
it's
okay.
gonna
Yes.
continue to go overland, because we're just,
What we're not questioning is the fact that there's pipes here, it's open, and there's pipes here. What we're looking at is putting the culverts here and here over where the existing pipes are. The question comes up what we do with the
Right.
open area of a stream, whatever you wanna call it, but certainly wetlands. And if it's natural, I would think leaving it as natural as possible is a goal, but again, like you said, we need to see
See what you
what
might,
the final preparation,
thinking,
the
what you're thinking.
final presentation is.
you want to do the public stuff.
yes, I'm going to do that. Do you have anything else for us? Okay. Okay, so, the applicant has been kind enough to share the presentation. We've asked a bunch of questions, so anybody in the audience have any questions of clarification on what you've heard? Anybody in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Anybody that wishes to speak in opposition? right, anything else? Okay, well then, we will see you guys in 2 weeks. So I'll make a motion that we can leave the public hearing open and continue it to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Does that need a second?
Yep.
Yep, I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. All right,
Thank you, guys.
take us to old business, 100 Candlewood Lake Road. I think we were waiting to understand what the final map was.
I have reached out to Paul Checo and I have not heard back from him yet. I will reach out to him again about which is the final map.
Yeah.
You wanna know the tomorrow?
Did you want to go back to 35 Merwin Brook or do that later?
No, we're gonna do that, it's right down here.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll do that.
all right.
Okay, so we just need, that's all we're waiting for is the exact right map with, I said, the last revision date on it, so that
Correct, and I did send an
when you
email.
go out to do your review, you're working with the correct thing.
I appreciate that.
I know you do. All right, so I'll make a motion to continue 100 Candlewood Lake Road to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll
Sec-
second.
Okay, Dave seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Stony Hill Village Pond Maintenance, I think the minutes have shown, that they've gotta maintain that pond to its original elevations and depths. But I did say that I would write a little letter, and I just have to be better at reminding myself to do that. So, again, I think if the applicant reads the minutes, they're gonna see the gist of the letter, which is, again, the pond needs to be maintained to its original elevations, so that it can detain the water with essentially minimal overflow into the adjoining wetland. But I will get a note off to them. So with that, I'll continue Stony Hill Village to our next regularly scheduled meeting. Have a second?
I'll second.
Michael seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. All right, next, we've got 12 Red Barn Lane. Someone here for that? All right. I heard you had a soil scientist out there and he dug some holes on your property. So we'll get your name and address, sir, for Cassandra.
Come on up. He's informal here.
Yeah, so I don't know, you can grab a chair or something like that. So we need names and addresses.
We have plenty of chairs. Hey, Jim.
Christian Fry, PCD of Architecture. Jim McManus, certified professional soil scientist, Jim Wetlands, offices in Newtown.
Okay, so I saw, Jim, you were out there and you dug some holes
I dug
and
some
found no wetland soils.
Well,
You found fill.
let me
Yeah.
step back.
Okay,
So I went out on September 20th and dug around the existing above-ground swimming pool and found about 8 to 10 inches of fill soil
okay,
over an upland soil, non-regulated upland soil.
that's what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and then there are wetlands, but the closest point is about 40 feet from this corner of the pool,
okay.
and everything else is further than that.
Well, yes, I did read that, sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
say there weren't wetland soils on the
Yeah,
property,
but
sorry.
I hung some flags just so if anybody wanted to see them, they were out there, but the whole backyard where the pool is now, where the proposed deck is, and where, even where the house is, between the house and the pool, which would be the southern side of the pool, there's no wetland soils there, even though it has been screwed around with.
Yeah,
Underneath the fill, is upland soil,
yeah,
moderately well drained.
right, moderately well drained, right? So,
So that map is,
Incorrect?
okay,
well, it's not incorrect, it's just,
so do we,
it doesn't reflect what's on the ground, that's all.
right, which it
Doesn't supposed to.
it's not, it's supposed to
It's
be,
not its job.
it's big animal picture, right? It's just saying at a macro level,
At a macro level.
there are wetland soils on this property, and
Right.
they are generally, maybe, possibly,
and-
most likely, in this area. That's what it tells us.
But what it tells me, if I was gonna purchase this lot, is maybe I should call a guy like me and see if I can put a pool in, if I can put an addition on my house.
Right.
How wet is this property really? And then when a guy like me goes out and says, nah, the wetlands are more toward the property boundary. And you're like, oh, okay, beautiful, well, let's get this thing signed up and let's get going.
Yeah, 'cause when you
That's
see a
really
map
what the
that's
map
covered
is.
in purple,
That's
it's
really
like-
what the map is for. It's a planning tool. I
It's a
wish
plan.
when the welcome wagon in every town would be more welcoming and tell people certain things you should visit if you're planning on doing stuff to your property. It would really help out.
It would. Okay, so Jim, help me. Now, is this the map that you want us to use here? Because we're gonna have to probably update it here, Jim, with your best
Well,
professional opinion of where these wetlands, where these
Right.
flags are.
my
in your-
figure one in my report is kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
As you see from the aerial photograph, you see these dark signatures? That's flooded. That's water. And it's there today.
It's this stuff, right?
Yeah, so I actually started off-site, well, my phone said I was off-site, and it sort of bends around, it comes up a little bit, and then bends back around, and then goes off again. So, I mean, again, I don't know what the scale is of this map.
But you had, now this doesn't have the,
It doesn't have the pool,
doesn't
That
have the
doesn't have the
pool.
pool,
so I don't really know where I am. I just know the closest point is 40 feet from this corner of that pool. Everything else is further away.
Alright, so how are we
So
gonna
from the
do
corner of this house, it's it's like 65 to 70 feet, which is about the property boundary from a wetland line. The wetland boundary is pretty much right on the property, and it goes away, it comes up, it goes away, and it goes down. Something like that.
When you say there are flags,
There are flags in the field. I hung some just so you could get a feel
where,
for it.
in general, Jim, where are your flags?
Well, they start at this property line, and they
Okay.
go along the property line, and they come back. I don't know exactly, but they're gonna come up to 40 feet from the pool, and then they're gonna bend away again, and they go along the back of this flooded area. That's what I'm saying. I think we're off-site, or if not off-site, we're, on this side of the property boundary. So we start here, close to this flooded area, we go along this flooded area, we scoop up just a little bit. It's in the weeds, it's not in the maintained lawn. It
Okay.
turns and goes back down and goes along this flooded area, and then I stopped.
Okay,
I'm not sure if I actually hit this back property boundary because we're getting so far away from what we were asked to do, it wasn't really necessary.
so, do you remember you got 5, 6 flags
I had
here?
8, I think I
Got
put in the
8?
report. I think we put
Okay.
8 in.
Okay,
Did I actually mention that? Yes, 1 through 8.
okay. Here's what you're gonna have to do for us. You're gonna have to take those wetland flags, and you're gonna have to put them on the map, okay? I probably don't need these, cause this is a long distance. But I need, if he's got a couple of wetland flags here and here, I need to know where they are. And I don't know if I can put them on the map tonight,
No, you can't.
cause I can't do that with, but I was trying to see if I could, but I
Well,
don't
do we
think.
have a scale on this map? What's it say?
1/16, one scale, 1/16
to
is,
foot.
1/16 to 1/16 to 1. So that's what you're gonna have to do for us,
So
okay?
there's a critical flag, flag 1.
You got 1, 2, 3, 4-ish,
Well,
probably 1,
that's-
2,
that-
3?
That's gonna be too far away. So the
Okay.
critical flag is 1 and 2 and like
1, 2, 3,
5.
or 5.
Because 5 starts to come up and then it bends away again.
Well,
So
one-
like
well-
1, 2, 5, and 6 are the big critical flags.
Okay, well, I
If you
can't,
can, I don't know if he can get them all, because they're as thick as nails.
okay, well, I need them on his property. If you went off, Jim, you're right, I don't need, if wetlands, if you're gonna tell me the wetlands 3, 4 are over
Well,
here,
the GPS tells me, it gives you,
Yeah.
sometimes Google Maps gives you property boundaries.
just sometimes, yeah,
And I told me I was off,
okay,
or on the line.
okay,
That's about as good as I can get.
all right, well,
I don't think you could have put flags on someone else's property.
Well, I did.
he did,
Oh, you,
yeah. Which is good for them.
It happens.
There's value, it happens,
Yeah.
you know,
What I always tell to those landowners.
because
they
you
may
never
not-
really, you're not quite sure, I mean, I
where
think
I
that's
am.
what Jim is saying,
I'm
he's,
I'm treated like a surveyor,
Yeah,
that I can trespass without calling it trespassing. I kind of fall under the surveyor's thing.
well, yeah, but even so, Jim, I mean, your GIS is not gonna be accurate to the nanometer,
not as-
right?
you know,
So
surveyors
Jim,
gonna
Jim
give
was
you-
doing what I think a professional would do. He's just trying to track, using, his measured out, see what happens here. You wouldn't wanna do one there and one there, and you'd miss this. So I think Jim did what any
Try to give
professional
a-
would do.
Give you a feel for it.
Right, so that's what you're gonna
There's
have.
one place where it sort of goes near the
Yeah,
pond.
it's about 40 feet. No, 40 feet from the pool. 40 feet from
Oh,
this
yeah.
corner of the pool. There's going to be a wetland boundary. 40
Okay.
feet from that pool.
So that's what you're gonna have to do for us. You're going to find 1, 2, Jim, if you can find 3, 4, or 5,
3 and 4, good luck.
okay,
You're going to challenge to get that in because it's so dense.
Mhm.
We moved 5 because it was so dense. We just put 5 up where we could see it.
okay.
And there's 6, and then 7 and 8 start to start to go this way again. And that might even be out here. I'm not sure exactly where they land, but they're nowhere near the pool. Let me put it that way,
Okay.
except for one flag.
Okay,
Everything else is greater than 60 feet, if not more than 100.
okay.
So you're saying it was okay that the pool was there
Absolutely.
then?
Yeah.
Okay,
It fell within your upland review area, but they didn't build a pool in wetlands.
Okay, good, good. Then it's not gonna be sliding around, which is a good thing. So, that's what you gotta do for us. You gotta put 1, 2, 3, if you find 1, 2, if you find 3 and 4, good. 5, okay? Then, with your best 100-foot measure, the distance from one to like the corner of the house,
That's gonna be about 65 feet.
about 65 feet, so just about 65 feet, we're gonna write that in. That was about 65 feet this way. And then 5, you said, is likely over in this area?
Yeah, whatever.
And then you said 40 feet from maybe 2?
No, 40 feet from probably like 5.
5, okay. So
'Cause,
5,
2, 3, and 4
Right.
start to go down closer to this ponded.
okay,
This area here, these wet signatures, it moves down, and then it pulls back up, and then it goes back down.
okay. And
It's
if,
kinda odd, I
and
know.
if I get out here, it'd be easy for me to see 1, 2,
You'll
and 5.
see,
1,
you'll
2,
see
and
some of
5.
them. You'll
I'll
see
see
some
1,
of
2,
them.
and 5.
You'll
if I
see
get out there.
1, 2, you'll see 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and maybe 8.
Okay. And then the distance from 5 to the
Is
closest
40 feet
of the pool.
on that
Yeah, well, that's what you gotta put on the map.
northwest corner.
Jim is saying it's 40 feet, but you gotta put it on there and put the 40 feet, okay? And this is the deck, right?
That's the proposed deck.
Okay, all right.
And then there was, I guess, what, a walkway from the house to the pool?
Yeah.
That's what they want to do?
A portion of the deck,
Connect the
yeah.
new deck to the
a
existing.
portion,
Well, apparently that would be okay then, right?
a portion of the
Yeah.
deck apparently falls within your upland review area.
Yeah.
But it's not in wetlands, and it's not in filled wetlands.
Right.
It's just adjacent to natural wetlands. So that's what I determined, that's what the flavor of this letter is talking about.
Good, well, I did read that, so thank you for that. So how are you feeling, right? And you can do this in, you don't have to, if you wanna redo it, it's great. If you wanna just handwrite it in, that's gonna be fine too, right? 1, 2, Jim says 5. I need that distance. If there's 2, I need this distance. If it's 5, I need this distance to the
Yeah.
pond, okay?
Okay, that's easy.
And I think that will do it.
Yeah,
We were initially befuddled because when you brought us the plan, it looked like there were wetlands there, and I guess it was before the zoning commission. Maybe somebody in the zoning commission knew what you discovered now? Is that possible?
can I ask you a question? Was there was a permit given here, was there any work done, any wetland delineations, any discussions, nothing?
No. No.
Yeah, the pool was put in last summer.
We were a little befuddled about that, the first time around.
As was I when I found out that, oh my God, this thing looks like it's like deep into a purple zone of wetland.
All right, well, question solved, I guess. It wasn't built in a purple zone of wetlands. But, having said that, we're here to, get the permit for the deck.
Okay, well, I think we're very close. I think if we get the map updated, I think you'll be in business. Okay, we just gotta get the map updated so we know what it is that we are approving. I am looking, because I did read this,
Then I get that approved for the next hearing or something, or?
Well, it- barring something unforeseen, I would anticipate yes. Okay, so, I
Right,
mean,
famous
this
last
we
words,
just
if
got.
you know.
So I'm gonna,
Yeah, you got that today.
yeah, it's not, it didn't make it in the folder, it was,
No,
No, it came in, yeah, just like earlier today.
it was a
Jim, I took yours.
Today.
rush
right?
job.
I took
You
yours.
took mine?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you this one though.
Okay.
You can have this one back.
No, I have one. I have my own. You can keep that one.
This is
Somebody
now-
can keep it.
This is now in the
Somebody
file.
keep that one.
Keep
I'll
that one.
keep this. Oh, you took mine? Does it say file copy on it? No. So you can have that.
Okay, well, I took it
Sometimes
anyways.
my file
Original,
copy.
original, so.
I got the original.
He's got the original. Okay,
Because sometimes my file copies have typos.
Okay.
Instead of wasting paper, I just say,
close enough.
my copy.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't want to hand in my copy.
all right, well, I hope this is the right
It
line.
should be good.
I don't know, well, I see your point, but
Is there a figure attached to that?
do you have this here?
That's a copy I have, yeah.
That's the copy, take that back.
Okay.
And we will
Stamp
stamp
that
the
one?
one
There you
that we
go.
got.
All right.
This might be, I don't know if this was yours, do you print like double-sided? 'Cause I did.
Time to do.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
All right.
All right. So, we got that, you guys got your homework, we'll be here in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right, I think in 2 weeks? There's, I always get messed up because Columbus Day, right?
What's today?
It might be
No, it isn't.
the
The ninth.
25th.
October 9th.
16th?
No, I think it's the 16th.
9th is Columbus Day.
Yeah, it's not, we're gonna be here.
Okay,
on
the
16th.
original calendar had it the 9th, but maybe it's changed or it was wrong.
I can't tell you that,
Okay.
all I'm reading is what's on the calendar, it says the 16th, so it's.
The 16th, yeah, that would make some
Okay.
sense, 3 weeks, sorry.
Yeah,
All right.
no problem.
Okey-doke.
So I gotta change my
Not doing much
calendar so I
sewing
don't sit
anyways,
here
right?
alone.
Alrighty.
Right.
Okay, yep, you're welcome. All right, so I'll make a motion to continue 12 Red Barn Lane to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Okay, I have 4
Then what about the
Ashwood Lane.
23rd?
No, it would be the 30th then, I guess.
Okay,
I don't know, the 23rd was the next, the next week.
Right.
Yeah, we need to
2
get
weeks
that-
after the 16th would be the 30th. I
But does the
imagine.
whole year move on?
I don't know.
Could be the 30th, but then, yeah, I probably have this wrong. It would be,
Oh, somebody didn't realize that October 9th was Columbus Day. Usually, you know, it seems to be a few days later.
Alright.
Seems a little early.
okay, was anybody here for this? Okay, great, we'll get your, name and address. Okay. All right, you're welcome to sit, be comfy, whatever you like to do. So, I think what this one was, you guys are just repairing a, yeah. Oh, yeah, 'cause this was, originally was just a log, and now you're putting a bridge in, right?
not into log rolling?
So that's what was there, right?
Yep.
And what is going to be there, do we have a picture of that? There's a drawing. That's the location. And it is just going to be just like it's just a plank, right? It's just like 2 by, whatever, 2 by 10s?
Logs,
Okay.
F stringers, and then, the floor of the bridge is gonna be different size locust boards,
Okay.
railings. It's similar to a bridge that's already out there on the other side of the property.
You don't need rails or anything on this?
There are rails.
They're rails.
There
See?
are going to be rails, okay.
And you're just laying it down on the ground?
Yeah, each side would probably go into the ground a little bit, to rest these stringers.
Is there, are you not pouring any concrete or anything like that, or
No.
moving some rocks around maybe?
Maybe some rocks, but really
Are you using pressure-treated lumber, or are you gonna paint it?
locust lumber.
Okay, but not painting or staining?
Okay. we were struggling to remember where this actually is.
I brought
I-
another map too.
Yeah, I kept
Um,
thinking it was down off Obtuse North, and it isn't.
So,
It's-
we Antonog Heritage Land Trust
Yeah.
merged with Brookfield Open Space.
Right, right,
Association.
right, yeah.
So this was originally the Antonog side, and this is all Birch, the historic Birch Rocks property.
Okay.
So it's all connected. Let me find that map. That's what, this is the Cold Greens property, so it's coming from over here.
So it is where I thought it was. It is off Obtuse Road. It is. I thought,
Yeah.
okay, it is. All right. Well, then I was right, and then I thought I wasn't right, but turns out I
This
was
is-
right.
This
Yeah, this is Obtuse. There's
There's
Merwin Brook.
Merwin Brook,
Yep.
obtuse.
Yep, yep, yep.
There's,
Okay. It is where I thought it was.
It's just a really big preserve.
Yeah, it's very
Mhm.
nice. Yeah,
there's
I have walked it.
Lovett's house, and he does a lot of
Yep.
walking there.
Yeah.
You must know
Yeah,
Lovett.
there's a parking.
Yeah, he's a
It's
great
best.
volunteer for us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's
I
a
know.
parking lot we approved, so I don't know, that was a long time ago. All right, I don't see any problem with this, I'm trying to figure out what it is that we're going, why don't you hold on to that. Trying to figure out what it is I'm going to sign. Well, I guess it would be this, which is a, I don't know, maybe the motion could just incorporate the, see, these don't have, they don't have, like, none of these have like receive dates on them, did you see that? Yeah, here.
It's dated though, it just doesn't show
Yeah, but it
received.
doesn't show receive date, see that?
There should be the receive stamp on everything.
Wouldn't you think?
Yes. It's just like an email maybe? I guess dated would be what we could write on it for this one, dated
Yeah.
2025, and then keep these two together,
Yeah,
just so we have an idea of what the view is.
right,
That would be my, and
sign all of it if you want.
you can go ahead and do that, I don't see it, but we would just add them both in as listed, and they'll be marked as received on that day.
Received
Or,
on that day.
or dated that day, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
We'll call that, the map dated 8/25/2013, and we'll call this the
Proposed bridge.
proposed bridge sketch.
Yeah.
Cause it really is a
Okay.
proposed bridge sketch.
Yeah, I just, sometimes I normally see like received.
Received date, no,
Yeah.
that's a valid point, no, make
Okay.
sure everything is stamped.
I think so. All right, I can just do this one if you want.
Sure.
I make a motion to approve the application W-23-44, it's called, 4 Ashwood Lane. I said, yeah, make a motion to approve I make a motion to approve the application, here we go. W-23-44, 4 Ashwood Lane. It's a drawing, by Northwest Connecticut Land Conservancy with a date of 8/25/2023, and the associated proposed bridge hand drawing, which does not have a date on it, but is in the file, with all the usual stipulations.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
That worked,
Thank you.
of course.
Thanks for your time, everyone.
Sure.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Thank you. And
9:25. So let's get this back. All right, so we've got new business. We've got 35 Merwin Brook. So gentlemen, we'll get your names and addresses over to,
For the record, my name's Ralph Gallagher. I'm the professional engineer representing Mr. Kinsella. We're here with Mr. McManus, as you guys know. And we are here to explain to the commission and show them the requests that they made, and that we finally got the surveyor, and he came out and marked the stone wall, and we put on the plan the proposed plantings, the silt fence, and, actually, the surveyor said it's kinda like a water course, but he marked the edge of the, standing water. So, he said it really wasn't a discernible water course, it's very flat, so. We've shown that on there, we've shown the wetlands, and, we believe we provided everything that you requested in that, at that meeting.
Okay.
We have multiple copies here for you.
Okay, well, I think we've got, Ralph, I think we've got, we'll take a look at what we have, okay? And then we'll decide if we have to take any of your stuff.
Well, if you didn't get it today,
I don't know, I'm gonna look.
we,
We're gonna look. Hang on,
Okay,
hang on,
I'm
hang on,
sorry.
hang on.
Okay.
That's always, we don't jump too
Okay.
far. Okay, so you're saying total acres 2.5, you're saying disturbed wetland area was 0, that's what you said, whatever, when we spoke to you.
Yep.
Total wetlands on 5. Disturbed linear feet of water course, that's blank? That
There
needs
is
a
no
number.
disturbed legally feet.
I know that, but right now the application is blank. There's no data, it doesn't say anything. I need 0.
It would be zero.
I know that, but that's
Oh.
your first homework assignment, okay? You gotta
Well,
up,
that's my fault, cause I filled the application.
whatever, somebody's gonna do that. I need a number there. If it's
Okay.
0, it's 0, and the total linear feet of water course, whatever that number is, I need a number here in the application, okay?
Okay.
Disturbed upland review area, 0.26 acres, okay. Okay, so that's first homework. Okay, so, we have a map, which was received August 23rd. That looks to be our most recent one,
That's the one we discussed at the
okay, and you,
meeting two times ago.
2 times ago.
So at that meeting,
Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm just telling you what we have, yeah?
You requested a few things.
Okay.
One of them being the water course or
Yeah.
whatever, but it is the edge, based on the surveyor's thing, he called it the edge of standing water. So this way, there may be more, and it kind of flows this way, but there was no, he couldn't find a
It actually
water
goes that
course.
way, but that's okay. It goes towards Jim, because it heads to Lake Winona.
Okay. So, you requested the location of this stone wall
Yep.
with respect to the wetland?
Yep,
And a little history, and Mr. Kinsella will tell us. You have a plan that shows where we'd like to put the house
I
and all
do
the
not.
grading.
I have,
We submitted that with the first one.
okay.
You
You
said
guess,
you didn't want that?
I said if,
You may not have kept it.
well, I would have kept it. So you're right, the first plan we got did have a house on it.
Yeah.
Right, you're right, because here it is.
So this is what we're going to want to do, but you said, no, first let's do this, and then this will be a new application.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if I said it, I'm sorry if that's the way it came across. What I was trying to convey is, if you wanted to do this as a part of that, you certainly could.
Oh, it was pretty clear.
Well, and then I
We wanted to take care of the violation first.
Yes.
That's
And then
fine.
we jump into a permitted
Okay.
access.
So anyway, that's what, so Mr. Kinsella was in.
Okay, so I don't have this.
Here, there's three surveys and 3 plans.
Okay, can I get the stamp back, please?
May I? Are they the same?
Yes.
The surveys are the same and the plans are the same. But the surveys are not the same as the plans.
Okay,
So these do not have the house on it, though.
No,
all right, okay.
Okay.
that's gonna be separate. So,
Okay.
the little history was, Mr. Kinsella was gonna build that plan that shows the house, and he hired a tree guy to cut. Mistake number 1. The guy cut down close to the wall, not to the wall, but close to the wall. And that's when all this started. So now the commission has said that we'll do this planting, or Mr. McManus has said that the way to mitigate this is to do this planting here because of the trees that were cut. And then, once we get this and plant this, then we can go on to the other application, which would be the house.
Okay.
Were there trees on this side of the stone
Yes.
wall?
It's all forested.
And it was clear cut?
Oh, no.
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 No,
I'm
it was
missing
cut,
something.
it was cut down
To
to the
here.
proximity of
Almost
the wall.
To the wall.
Okay, so what you're saying is,
Nothing was disturbed in the wetland.
So-
No one ever crossed the wall.
okay, so there are still some trees
Oh, there's a lot of trees.
Oh, yeah.
in this area?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
and they haven't been
Everything
touched?
that's shaded green
Yeah.
is treed.
Yeah, and now that
Canopy.
we have an application, we can actually easily walk this.
Mhm.
So, and we can
I'm sure
confirm.
you walked it before.
No, I would not, because I said we had some, I can't do things without having like applications, okay?
Oh,
Otherwise, it's called trespassing.
I see. Well, not if you have permission.
Right,
If there's a complaint, you have permission to go out. But anyway, I understand, all right.
okay, so now we can go and walk that. Okay, so that's good, all right. And I think, Jim, this has got a list of the trees, this version's
Right
got a
here.
list of the trees.
Yep. We're gonna plant right here.
It's a mix of trees and bushes, as I recall.
Shrubs and trees.
Shrubs and trees, okay.
Very nice.
All right, were you able to connect with someone for a third-party review on this?
I want a little bit more clarification. Do you want a third-party review of the conditions now? Or do you want a third-party review as a monitoring going forward?
I want a
Maybe
third-party
misunderstood.
review of the proposed restoration plan. Okay,
No, my apologies, I misunderstood that.
okay. All right,
Could I ask why?
because I have the ability to do it. And I want someone else's opinion on, is this a good idea for what was taken out? Okay? Anything else for us?
I was just curious, where about is the house going to be when?
Not in the regulated area, nothing's gonna be in the regulated area.
There we go. Huh, there we go. I knew there was an original fold line on it. Okay, so we're gonna do a third-party review on this. I think we're also gonna probably think about like a conservation easement, you know, for this. You know, in the final, like I said, in the, maybe some of the final assessments. So I wanted to leave that, you know, I wanted to leave that idea in your, you know, for your thinking. Anything else for us?
I didn't think of anything.
Okay,
Um,
yes,
does the fine pay for the third party?
no. Okay,
The fact that the fine went out on the 13th and I got it on the 17th, and I had to pay for all those days matter?
probably. I don't have, but you'll have to talk to our enforcement officer.
And she said it was up to you.
So what's the question again?
So the question is, at our last meeting, I remember us going forward, that there was a discussion from a meeting before, if we did not receive the application by this date,
Yep,
we would start issuing citations immediately.
yep,
So I issued citations immediately.
Good.
So following that next day, the citation got mailed out, citations were issued. Mr. Kinsella did come in, the second he came in, paid the citation, I stayed the citation.
good.
So,
You're even on that, so now we
I
got
don't think I'm even though. If you mailed something out on the 13th, I got my mail on the 17th, you can check the post office with the 2 signatures. Why do I pay for the 3 days at $1,000? Or 4 days at $1,000?
so here's where it gets tricky. What happens if he denies his mail? I'm not saying that you would, but.
Well, that's.
Right, well, I live
Where-
in Danbury by the New York line, I'm not in Brookfield getting my mail every day. It's not like it's delivered to my mailbox at my house. There's a signature required to pick up the certified letter.
We'll
There's
take a-
actually 2.
We'll take a look at that. We'll talk to the town attorney and see what the right answer is, okay?
Mhm.
All right, we'll do that. We'll talk to the town attorney and we'll let you know what the town attorney tells us.
Okay.
Okay? Fair enough. Anything else for us?
No, if you are correct in your assumption or your mental conclusion that we could apply for the rest of the thing with a new application, or if we could conclude it with this, we will do that.
I'm sorry if there was some misunderstanding. You put it on there and there were some things missing on it. I sort of remember the conversation and I said, if you wanted to do that, you could. So I'm sorry if we didn't if you and I ended up in different places.
all right.
You can do
I
that if you
read
want.
From the minutes from the meeting, and it was certainly not clear that, it was, to me, it was clear that this was gonna be separate. So,
Okay.
because
Well,
you're
sorry
not
for
gonna
that. That
prove
was
this,
not my intent.
you're not gonna prove this tonight, you're gonna get a third party.
Yes, we
We
are.
have time to come into the next meeting and have everything on the plan.
Great, then we'll have the
Approve the whole
third-party
thing all at
review,
once.
take a
Yeah,
look
do
at that
you
one
have-
too, absolutely.
Okay.
Do you
Yep.
know where the house is gonna
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
situated
he
at this
he
point?
just said he did.
Okay, you have that information.
So as long as we're out of the, I mean, you know, just off the, I know you don't have to, you can't decide right now, but as long as we're outside the regulated area with everything we do with the house, this shouldn't even be kind of much of a consideration with all this, right?
Is that a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, ask it again, because I'm not understanding it.
As long as when what we're doing over here is outside the regulated area, your regulated area, that shouldn't be much of a consideration for this. This is.
Yeah, that's why they call it a regulated area.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're outside of the
Technically, we
regulated
don't need
area,
it
then
from
you don't
being
need,
to
you don't
this.
need an approval. You're right, that's why we call it a regulated area.
So we'll show all that together, and the regulated area here from here is, how far?
It's from the, it's from the,
From the
it's from the
wetlands,
water
how
course,
far?
it's 100 feet.
100 from the water course,
100.
and how much from the wetlands?
Well, from the
From
wetlands,
wetlands, 100.
for the wetlands is 75, and from the water
Water
course,
course
it's
is 100.
100. So we'll have to, it looks like
I guarantee when
probably,
you get this plan, there'll be nothing within 75 feet of that.
okay, that's fine.
Okay,
That's your choice.
very good.
All right.
We will see you in 2 weeks.
No, you're gonna see us in 3, because there's Columbus Day.
Aha,
October
16.
16th.
you're not gonna tear the statues down, that's good.
October
Okay.
16th.
Pardon
I
me?
don't have any
October
statues.
16th.
Correct, yes.
It's my birthday.
Okay, good.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. All right, we'll have this up in ahead of time.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a
Okay.
motion to continue W-23-4735 Merwin Brook Road to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Okay, take care.
All righty. Discussion and review of standard conditions of wetlands approval. Okay, so, the land use office was kind enough to draft up some language for us. Do you guys see it?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, I will only say, it's a written report, written email, does that, written email, written
I
slash?
would say an email counts as in a report.
Okay.
Because I don't know how formal you wanted the reporting to get.
An
just as
email
a
is fine.
check-in,
An
so-
email, here's, all I'm, if, an email, this is, and it's 24 hour, 1 inch in 24 hours. An email is fine, you know, and the email, if there's no problems, we went out and looked, no problems.
Just
That's-
an easy one-liner, or this is, we saw the silt fence was down here, we
And
repaired
we're
it,
gonna fix it
yeah.
tomorrow, or we're gonna fix it whatever, or if you get a, say it's down and you don't have anything that tells you when it's gonna be fixed, then you'll have to reach out to them and say, well, what's your plan?
I think they only have 48 hours in their standard conditions
Yep.
of approval, if I remember correctly off
Right.
the top of my head. Any way to fix any kind of repairs for EMS
Right.
cables that are down,
Yep.
damaged?
Yep. I'm good with it.
That was just my, trying to capture what I thought you
Okay.
were looking for.
That's
So-
exactly what we're looking for.
The current regulations just require that the land be inspected after the rainstorm.
Right.
But it doesn't require them to present us with a
Right.
report of the inspection.
Right.
It's more
And this adds the condition that they have to report to us
Right.
what they find in the inspection.
Right.
And I like written just because if someone leaves me an email after every, or leaves me a voicemail
No
after each
voicemail.
rainstorm, I would like a paper copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To put it in the file.
And you can put it in the file.
That's a
So do
written
you want to
report.
add the condition of emailed report?
If they wanna give me a letter, I'm fine with that.
Email or hard copy, we can.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, shall inform the Wetlands Commission, want to put in inlands before wetlands? Or am I being
Yes.
nitpicky?
I think,
Yeah, I think inlands.
inform the Wetlands Commission, yeah, that's what we are.
Okay.
Although I would suggest that, based on what you just said, maybe add the words in writing.
What was
Add
it?
the word what?
In writing after inform the
Yes.
Wetlands Commission, so we don't have them just leaving you a voicemail.
Mhm.
Okay, I do have the permittee shall submit a written report detailing the condition of the center.
No, I'm talking about the last sentence of
Okay.
the existing part. The permittee shall immediately inform the Wetlands Commission of any problems involving the wet.
Shouldn't we say Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission, as long as we're being sort of formal with this?
Well, that's a bit of a different issue that I'm suggesting. Did you not say that you didn't want to just get stuff in voicemail?
Yes, I absolutely
Yeah,
prefer
so
writing.
that's all I
Yes,
was
I see
gonna
what you mean now, I've just
that
was
very
looking at the
last
other
sentence.
part where I was going, wait a minute, I'm confused, yes.
The very last sentence.
It just added
Shall
in
inform the
writing.
commission in writing of,
In writing, comma, digital or hard copy. Yeah, we wanna make it specific, so there's nothing, and I would say Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission of any, problems. Just make it very specific, so, there's no, wiggle room there.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to approve the language submitted by Ms. Barkowski, and ask that the standard of conditions of approval be updated per the text and the minor modifications which we have suggested.
I'll second that.
More discussion?
No,
All right,
we're
all
good.
those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
I have a messy copy too that I was writing up, but thank you.
Okey dokey. What, let's see, where, oh, here it is. Okay, let's see, correspondence, nothing. Review of the previous minutes. So again, Cassandra, we know you had to go through and listen to the whatever, and you did not have a chance to ask questions since we weren't there on the whatever. So I did go through them. I've got a couple, maybe like little minor things here. It's on line, starts on line 89.
These, numbered lines are incidentally very good.
Yeah, and I think
Very good.
it's
Her idea.
yeah.
Okay.
And this is a minor little quibble, okay? So I think it's as much, I mean, there's certain things that I say when I say it, okay? Because then it's me. But in this particular case, if you go along, it's not as much that she doesn't have it, it's the town of Brookfield doesn't have it, okay? See, it's a minor little thing, but it's not like, I don't have it, but Michael does.
Right.
If we say town of Brookfield, then we know the town of Brookfield doesn't have it. So I would replace she with, town of Brookfield. And then that last sentence didn't have, I would just put a period, because I don't see the value in, or the words in those minutes, the map was not described in the minutes. So that's a very cumbersome clause there. I would just strike that, because we don't have it. Flooding of the wetlands, which the town of Brookfield does not have. So can we just strike, or in the words of these minutes, the map was not described in the minutes? Because that doesn't add any more value, and could be confusing. We just wanna say once, the town of Brookfield doesn't have it. Then also on like 94, the commission will keep the public hearing, just say open. Or keep the public hearing scheduled, okay?
I think open is the better.
As opposed to like, in order to stick to the proposal, we can just make it simpler to say, keep it scheduled. Then, I'll let you finish that. Then down on line like 115, it says S. Fox explained that the applicant needed to do a wetlands delineation. He doesn't actually need to do anything. If he wants to get his case reviewed, he has to provide all the information. So it's not like he needs to do something, it's just the application in that particular case, has planned to do a wetland delineation, to define wetlands location, period. And I would just get rid of that other happy stuff, all those other words. And needed to prove the application, or needed to have the application continued in the next meeting. So we don't need any of that. We just say they explain the applicant has planned to do a wetland delineation to define the precise precise location of wetlands. Period, that's all we need. And other than that, what's that? Other than that, I didn't have anything else. So with that, Michael, Dave?
No, I
Okay. So with
saw some of the
those-
same things you did, that some of the
Yeah.
wording was awkward, but you've covered it.
Yeah, and if it kind of reads awkwardly, and you can't fix it, you probably don't need to bother with it. I would probably give you that as a rule, if it's, because you don't have to actually, what we're interested in are certainly the major points, right? And anyways, the things that the commission may have asked, the applicant to do, to proceed, and then they get to decide whether they wish to do it or not. But if it gets to be a little awkward, just, you probably don't need it.
Yeah, I noticed it's line 41, I'm sorry, I don't mean to quibble, 145 to
145?
148. I don't know, it's a little awkward the way it's written, or is it my imagination?
Where, 145, let's see, where you're starting with, the
She
commission
did
is
state-
limited? She did state that everything within the riparian corridors will require the same level, that was the town attorney, same level of permitting anyway.
Some level of,
Yeah.
And it's awkward,
Well, what would you change?
the way, the riparian corridors, explanation,
Just tell me the words you wanna change.
I don't know, I just
Okay.
find this phrasing, sort of awkward, but it could be only me, if both of you like it, then
That's
I'm fine.
what I remember was said. I mean,
Yeah.
the sense of what was said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can change it, you just gotta tell us what to change.
I,
So,
We're gonna leave it.
Christine actually wrote these
Okay.
because I had a ZBA meeting that night
Okay.
also, so I wrote the ones for
Mhm.
the ZBA meeting.
Oh, okay. All
Uh,
right. Well,
she
still,
did state-
still,
I know, I just
whatever,
wanted to mention.
you know,
She
still,
did
I thought,
state, is
I
that-
thought Laura told me you wrote them, so that's why I directed my.
It's all good. Only you.
That's why I was, so we're together, so thank you for chirping up there, kiddo.
where she,
Thank you.
where she is in that, is that referring to Laura?
The town attorney.
Uh, It's, okay, maybe we should put that in instead, so it's clear on who said this.
Yeah, you can do that, 145, let's see, so.
It's just sort of awkward the way it is, but, I can live with it as long, I pointed out the awkwardness to you, and if
Well,
both
no,
of you
that's-
can, live with it.
No, I said, it's a matter of, I said, we're all in this together, so if you see something that isn't right, you gotta say, this doesn't work right, I
Yeah,
would see it like, I would see it done this
Yeah,
way.
he's
Right.
right, because the she, you just mentioned three
Laura.
women in the beginning of that paragraph. It isn't exactly clear which she is being referred to.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was the town attorney, it should say either Laura.
Yeah, well, the town, yeah.
The town attorney or her,
Yeah, but the town attorney wasn't at that meeting, so the she is probably Laura. The town attorney was not at that meeting.
Well, and then on the next line, the anyway, I'd strike that.
Where?
it could be,
146, anyway,
well, then it could either be Laura or,
well, I think we should put in who did state everything,
yeah, that's,
Well, that would be Barkowski.
I don't know,
Yeah,
it's just awkward, the way it is.
you're right. It's just the question is who did
Well,
state that?
Well,
Was
Laura,
that one?
Laura was restating what she heard the town attorney say.
Okay,
So that's what that is, cause the attorney wasn't there.
correct.
Okay.
But that's not 100% clear from the way it's
Okay,
written.
well, then we'll just change it to say L. Barkowski, did stated.
Mhm.
But you're right, I mean, it would require some level of permitting anyway, some level of permitting, so let's just permitting
there's
period
something
and
else. Maybe we
strike
should
anyway,
say
so with the same
L-
capacity, get rid of that, doesn't make any sense.
Which line was that?
It's 146, Dave's right. If we change it to L. Barkowski did state that everything within the riparian corridors
That's
will
140.
require some level of permitting, period.
Mhm.
And strike anyway, so with some capacity.
Why not after permitting, use the word although this commission, strike the rest of it, although this commission will still be able to weigh in
You
on those
could.
applications on a case by
Well, what we're
case.
trying to get is the sense of what was said,
Yeah,
whether it's correct or not, whether the information is correct or not. We're
Mhm.
trying to get, the minutes should reflect what was said. So we want to know who said it
Yes.
and what they said.
yeah.
and not-
Personally, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Michael, I'm
That's it.
sorry. Personally, I wouldn't, I think the fewer commas and semicolons are better. So I would still do some level of permitting, period, new sentence. This commission will still be able to weigh in on those applications on a case-by-case basis.
Why don't we put a however before?
I'm not, I wouldn't do howevers, and howevers and because and buts.
Yeah, that gets,
Gets mushy.
but I still, I'm not sure we've made it clear who the she is.
It's Laura.
Oh, you did say that?
Yeah, it's Laura.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
the
change the
only
she to
problem
L.
with
The
this,
she to L. Barkowski.
I'm almost sorry I brought this up.
No,
The
no,
only,
no.
the only problem
No.
is, after you put a period by level of permitting,
Yep,
the next sentence does relate, the next new sentence, this commission
yep.
does relate to the past sentence. That's why
Well,
you
it
might
does.
have an although
But it's
or
not
a
dependent,
however.
but it's not dependent on it.
Mhm.
It relates to it, but it is not dependent on it.
Mhm.
Sort of is.
I know that, but it's not like a comma would be sort of continuing the same thought, and this is now a declaration. This commission will still be able to weigh
Okay.
in on the applications.
I don't find this, it's nothing major. If we hadn't changed anything with this, I would have been okay with it.
No, I think you caught a good one. I'm glad you read it that way.
Mhm.
All right, you give that to Christina.
When she gets back. So it's okay.
Did we already have a motion to approve?
No, we're gonna do that right now.
Sorry.
No, but I gave her my,
Just
notes.
started, but then.
Yeah. So, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. All right, that was a good discussion. Next, informal discussion. I don't have anything.
Not me.
All right,
Nope.
so out of that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, Dave
Well
seconds.
stated. No, Michael.
No, Michael made the motion and you seconded it.
Okay, I can do that.
All those in favor?
Aye.